What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and today we're taking a look at the stylistic evolution of none other than Lil Uzi Vert, who just dropped a new album. Now, while we're here and talking about it, let me know what your favorite song is off of the new Pink Tape album, and you might as well go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to be taking a look at Lil Uzi Vert's stylistic evolution, and back in 2015, before he had the fame, he was flipping sneakers on Facebook Marketplace to get what he wanted. In both of these photos, he's wearing one of his favorite sneakers at the time, which were these tan Bapestas, and as you can see, they meant a lot to him. So much so that he would go on to reference Bapestas in his lyrics very often. Back in 2015, on the single I Got Bands, he said, "Pink bathing apes, feeling like Killicam," which is of course a reference to the legendary New York artist Cameron. And in 2015, Uzi also debuted his first mixtape, Love Is Rage, which was a lot of people's first introduction to him with singles from Young Thug and Wiz Khalifa. Throughout the album, Uzi raps about his cash flow and elevating his sneaker game, specifically referencing his Chanel sneakers on the single 7 a.m. And it's been interesting to see Uzi's style evolve throughout the years. Here's a photo of him and Young Thug decked out in Chanel. Shout out to Young Thug one time and free my boy Jeffrey. And here's Uzi decked out in Chanel from head to toe not too long ago. As you can see, the brand means a lot to him, and he's definitely elevated his sneaker game. Next up, we're looking at 2016, which was a legendary year in hip-hop. And here's Uzi now front and center for the now legendary XXL 2016 Freshman Cypher. And if you haven't seen it or you're unfamiliar, every year XXL magazine comes out with a list of the biggest or brightest upcoming rappers, and of course, Uzi was joined by some of the biggest names in hip-hop today. The biggest takeaway from this, however, is to focus on what exactly Uzi's wearing on his feet. Those are none other than the Rick Owens Geo baskets, which are crazy and still have influence to this day, and was the start of really seeing Uzi dressed out in Rick. And if you're not familiar, Rick Owens has really run the game for a long time, and this is just another example. Now, 2017 was the year of the Hypebeast, and Lil Uzi was no different. Here he is decked out in V-Lone, which was a super popular brand for the time. He's on record saying that he has more Supreme than they have in the store, and I honestly don't blame him because it was probably the biggest brand at the time. And this was really the first time we were starting to see him transition from wearing more band tees and aesthetic like that to sometimes more designer. In 2018, he wore what's one of my favorite outfits of his for the Grammys, which pretty much was a mix-up of this goth outfit and some unreleased off-white sneakers. At the time, Off-White was huge, and Virgil Abloh, before he passed away, was definitely hooking him up with the supplies, but Uzi definitely still found time to wear his own style like those Jeremy Scott Adidas, which you don't see too often. In the following years is when he really started to cement himself, I think, in the fashion game, just really wearing whatever the heck he wanted. A mix of anything from designer fashion to vintage to even men's and women's purses like this, which got him a lot of heat, but Uzi continued to do his own thing. Now, I know throughout the years he's also definitely dyed his hair a fair share of different colors. He's had his controversy with the pink diamond that's over $20 million, and I could have included things like that, but I really wanted to just show his evolution and growth. Now, to coincide with the release of some of his new singles and albums throughout the years, as well as his now viral dances like the Futsal Shuffle in 2020, Uzi, of course, was definitely rocking different things that were catching people's attention. Now, 2020 and 2021 were definitely weird years because of COVID-19 and the shutdown, so not a whole lot was going on. However, it did allow Uzi to work on music, which is what he always really wanted to do, and it was during this time that he started to jam out with bands like Blink-182, listen to bands like Deftones, and Bring Me the Horizon, and definitely get his creativity flowing. Throughout the 2021 and 2022 year, he also connected with Pharrell and Adidas and was able to come up with his own collaboration with the Human Made brand, seeing his first foray into actual collaborations with brands. And while at the BET Awards right here, you can see a pretty subdued style while also paying tribute to Virgil Abloh with the Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones. I wouldn't be right if I didn't include Uzi's love of Balenciaga in a video that has to do with his stylistic evolution. He's done so much as record music inside the Balenciaga store while undoubtedly spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars with the brand. But it takes us to the last few years, and especially 2022 and 2023, when Uzi has been finding himself in the punk lane, which brings us to where we are today with the release of Pink Tape just this past week. Now, like I said, during COVID lockdown, Uzi was able to really experiment with himself and make the music that he wanted to, and it's been no secret throughout the years that he's been a big rock and metal fan. Throughout his interviews, he's mentioned his love of Gigi Allen and bands like Paramore. And of course, throughout the Pink Tape, we saw a lot of that influence as well. So if you made it this far, let me know your favorite Uzi song off of the new album Pink Tape. Let me know what you think about his stylistic evolution and what you thought of the video. The biggest thing about Uzi that I think is really cool is despite his status and despite what people might think, with him in the lane of being in hip hop, he really does not care what anybody thinks, from doing the whole thing with assigning his own pronouns to dressing however he wants to all the tattoos on his faces. He gets a lot of controversy, but he always stays true to himself. So if you made it this far, I hope that you can also do that for yourself and wear what you want. So let me know what you think, guys. Stay safe, and thanks for rocking with the kitchen. Peace.